Shalom. I'm going to start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect of the nation of Israel, the true Hebrew Israelites, the so-called Negroes, so-called Hispanics, and so-called Native Americans. We are Israel, as well as the Israelite foreigners who may look like the other nations but believe on this truth. You are Israelites as well, or Hebrew Israelites. This is going to be a quick video lesson inspired by I was overhearing my dad talking about something concerning American history, and he was using words like certain wars that was going on in certain nations, like I believe he said the French, and I think he talked about the Native Americans, if I remember correctly, as well as the North. And this is all biblical prophecy, so I was going to start with the book of Genesis, chapter 49. And start at verse 1 for the context, and then skip to verse 19. Genesis 49 and 1. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you what shall befall you in the last days. Jacob is our forefather. So he told the sons what would happen basically in the last days. And so we see concerning Gad in verse 19. Gad, which is a so-called Native American tribe of the 12 tribes of Israel. Gad was a son of Jacob. Jacob, his name was changed to Israel. Gad, a troop shall overcome him. That troop was Esau with his the United States cavalry, and they fought against Gad. Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but he shall overcome at the last. So when the end times, Esau would be fighting against Gad with his cavalry. This is just Gad being the so-called Native Americans. So this is based on the scripture in Genesis 49 when Jacob was talking to his sons. Or when he called unto his sons and said, Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that what shall befall you in the last days. So something in Genesis happened thousands and thousands of years later. So this proves that we believe through faith, but this proves that the so-called Native Americans are Israelites and that the Bible is true. This stuff all happened. This is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 4. This is not verse 4 and verse 7. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold a fourth beast, which is ancient Rome, dreadful and terrible and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it through the senate. It was diverse, and it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, which this little horn is America, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots. And when you look at American history, these 3 horns are the Spanish, the French, and the British. And there were various wars fought between these 3 different these 3 horns, which were plucked up by the roots. This is all American history. And so there was not only this part of American history, but also the part where you had the U.S. cavalry. It's Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but Gad shall overcome at the last. In this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. And I'm gonna skip down to. I could have actually started here. Actually, I'm gonna go to verse 19. Slakia. Then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. Verse 20. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and the other of which came up, and before whom 3 fell, even that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. And so America's look is more stout than his fellows, because it looks down on these other European nations. Verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints. The saints are the children of Israel. Psalms chapter 148 and verse 14. He exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints. Who are the saints? Even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai. So the saints are the children of Israel. So when you read about the saints in Daniel 7, while Esau was coming into power, or ascending into power, and establishing this little horn, he was making war. This is when he came over here to the Western Hemisphere, or the fourth part of the earth, the uttermost part of the earth. And he attacked Gad. Was an example. He attacked Gad. The so-called Native Americans. It said he made war with the saints. That's what Esau did. So let's read verse 20 again. And the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell. The 3 is the Spanish, the British, and the French. The little horn is America, and these are whom 3 fell. Just spoke about it. Even of that horn, America, that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout than his fellows. Again, because America looks down on the other European nations. Verse 21. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints, the children of Israel, by attacking Gad, by attacking the so-called Native Americans, and prevailed against them. And so I don't know the specific time periods, but this was in the same so under America's rule, or during the time of Esau establishing America, he attacked the children of Israel. And when you specifically talk about the United States cavalry, we read Genesis 49, Gad, a troop shall overcome him, but Gad shall overcome at the last. So I don't know if this is exact same time frame of these two, but of Daniel 7 and Genesis 49, but it's the same. It's Esau who has done this to the same people, the so-called Native Americans, the tribe of Gad. And this proves that well, let me go to here to see how the children of Israel got over to this side. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 13. Hold on for a second. Let me do this. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So Esau would be ruling, and then Jacob is going to rule next, which will be the kingdom of heaven. Jacob being the children of Israel, which will be an everlasting rulership. So this is a translation of rulership, of dominion. So look here. Now when we go back to Daniel 7, in verse 18, but the saints, which are the children of Israel of the Most High, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom even forever and forever. So this little horn was the last rulership. In Daniel 7, you had 4 rulerships: the Assyrian Babylonians, you had the Medo-Persians, you had the Greeks, you had the Romans, and then the little horn, which is America. Then the next is the children of Israel. The saints possess the kingdom forever. We read Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And Esau being the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Esau, the so-called white man, who's really red, he came out red all over like a hairy garment, would be ruling right before Jacob. So this is how we know Esau is the so-called white man. And when he started his ascension into power, he made war with the children of Israel. He came to the uttermost part of the earth, and then a troop overcame Gad with the United States cavalry. And so how did Gad get over to this part of the earth? And if it would be Gad, it's also the rest of the so-called Hispanic and Native American tribes, like the tribe of Reuben, the so-called Seminole Indians, Ephraim, the so-called Puerto Ricans. But this is 2nd Ezra 13. In verse 40, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen. So the Israelites, specifically the northern kingdom, we read the 10 tribes which were carried away. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave. So of the children of Israel, that's the so-called Hispanic and Native American tribes. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen, and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. when they went into further country where never mankind dwelt, they went in ships and went to the Americas. They dwelt there for however many years. I don't know if I didn't do the history or the math on it. But for a long time, maybe hundreds or 1,000 or 2,000 years, maybe. Somewhere between then. Then all these prophecies, like Daniel 7, started, then Esau came over to this part of the earth and started taking over Gad and established his power seat. So now is the time where Yahushai's visitation to Esau, because Yahushai is going to deliver the elect Israelites, and then the kingdom of heaven will be established on the earth, where the saints, the children of Israel, will take the kingdom and possess it even forever. When we go back to Daniel 7, so okay, I gotta get going, so I'm gonna do this while driving. You go back to Daniel 7. It speaks about Yahushai's return. Oh, Shlaki. Daniel chapter 7, verse 13. I saw in night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man, that's Yahushai, came with the clouds of heaven, which are the chariots, the so-called UFOs. You can read Revelation chapter 1, verse 7, Matthew chapter 24, verse 29 to 31. That's how Yahushua is returning, with the angels, multitude, the army of angels in the clouds of heaven, the chariots. And the MOTB RFID microchip would be mandatory at this time, because that's the next prophecy we're looking to come to pass. So you have all these ancient history prophecies which have passed. The next prophecies is the Revelation 13:16, the microchip, Jacob's trouble, and the destruction of America and the deliverance of the elect. Daniel 7:13, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man, who was so-called black man, coming in an angelic form, with the clouds of heaven, and to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. So, and this is going to be during the time of Esau, Edom ruling. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. And Esau would have his ascension into power since establishing that little horn. Now, to make the point, go to Daniel chapter 7, in verse 11, and I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horn spake, the horn America, I beheld even to the beast, this NATO in the EU, was slain. America's part of NATO, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. So what part of the beast is going to be destroyed? America, Babylon the Great. This is the nuclear destruction of America, which Yahushua is going to deliver the elect from that destruction. This is the destruction of Esau's society. Now, that was just to make the point. Now I want to go to, so we read in 2nd Ezra 13 that the northern kingdom would go to a further country where never mankind dwelt, and that was in the Americas. Now we go to Isaiah the 14th chapter and the 13th verse. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Which how did he exalt his throne above the stars of the Most High? Through his space stations. But the stars of the Most High also represent the Israelites. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation. The congregation means with the flock. The flock is the Israelites, or the nation of Israel. In the sides of the north is North America, which is Babylon the Great, America. So this is where and so Esau would be ruling over the children of Israel in North America in Babylon the Great. And when we track his ascent through prophecy in Daniel 7 and Genesis 49, and seeing that the northern kingdom would be on this part of the earth in 2nd Ezra 13, we can see that it's Esau, the so-called white man, who is ruling the children of Israel in the land of the north. No, I don't know if this had a specific time frame of a date, but like I don't know if it's at this date where Esau started ruling, but like in this Isaiah 14, but Esau would be ruling over the children of Israel in North America. And we read the history of what happened, of how the Israelites came over to this part of the earth and how Esau started conquering. And remember that Esau is the end of the world, Jacob the beginning of it that followed. So back to Isaiah 14 and 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High, which are the Israelites, but also the space stations. I will sit upon the mount of the congregation. We just broke that down. In the sides of the north. Now, when we touch upon the stars of heaven, go to Revelation chapter 12, because the Israelites are the stars of heaven. Revelation chapter 12 in verse 4. In the tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven. Now this what happened back in the time of the ancient Roman Empire, Esau ruling in ancient Rome. The third part of the stars of heaven are Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, which represents the 3 tribes of Israel. And did cast them into the earth, and the dragon stood before the woman. The woman is Israel, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child. The child is Yahushai, as soon as it be born. So the reason I bring it out, it shows you the Israelites are the stars of heaven. Now this chapter goes into a lot of Roman history through prophecy, and so if it's, notice how it says third part of the stars of heaven, because three tribes of Israel were over there in the time of ancient Rome. And so when we read about 2nd Ezra 13, that was the northern kingdom who came over here, who took ships and went into a further country where never mankind dwelt. Then you had 3 of the other tribes of Israel in ancient, who had to go through captivities in an ancient Rome. And so that proves that the so-called Native Americans are Israelites, based on all this prophecy, and also the fact that only 3 tribes of Israel, mainly because you had northern kingdom sprinkled in there at the time of ancient Rome, but mainly it was just those 3 tribes in those stars of heaven, the Israelites being the stars of heaven. Back to Isaiah 14. Isaiah 14:13, for thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. So the space station, also the Israelites. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. Verse 14, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds, I will be like the Most High. Now back to verse 13 where it said stars above the Most High. We go to Obadiah chapter 1. And remember, Rome is that 4th beast. This is Obadiah chapter 1. Obadiah chapter 1 and verse 4, or verse 1. For context, the vision of Obadiah, thus saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So this chapter is about the Edomites, the descendants of Esau, the so-called white man who's really red. An ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. We go to verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and the so-called white man Esau, Edom, uses the eagle in symbolism. You can look at the back of the dollar bill. And though thou set thy nest among the stars. So in Isaiah 14, is this man, the so-called white man Esau, was the one who set his throne above the stars the Most High. This is through his space stations. He exalted as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, these space stations. Thence will I bring thee down, saith Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And that was 1969, where Esau went up into heaven, and then that was the start where America started falling. But we can connect Isaiah 14 to Obadiah chapter 1. And so, again, this lesson wasn't inspired by what I overheard my dad was saying on things concerning American history, and I thought it would be edifying to the flock, to the elect. Right now, we're the hopeful elect, because it proves all these events was based on prophecy. So, and remember, Revelation 13:16 is the next major prophecy. And I'm going to read this one more time. 2nd Ezra chapter 6 verse 9. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So, see if I got anything else. Oh, this one. Zechariah chapter 4 verse 12. And I answered again and said unto him, what be these 2 olive branches, which are the kingdoms of Israel, or the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel, or the kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Ephraim? It's the same things. The kingdom of Judah is or house of Judah is the so-called Negroes, so-called American Negroes, so-called West Indian Negroes, and so-called Haitian Negroes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. This goes back to the history of kings you can read about in the Kings books of the Bible, Chronicles. Then and then the other other olive branch, the house of Israel, house of Ephraim, is the so-called Hispanic and Native American tribes. So there was a separation of these two kingdoms. And now we see through history, through prophecy, they're back together. And so this is the preaching of the word. What be these two olive branches? So the Christian church isn't the preaching of the word. This has nothing to do with Judah and Israel teaching the word. What be these two olive branches, which through the two golden pipes empty out the golden oil, which this golden oil represents his wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, which is the preaching of this word out of themselves. Let me read it together. Zechariah chapter 4, verse 12, and I answered again and said unto him, what be these two olive branches, which through the two golden pipes empty out the golden oil out of themselves? So that's the two kingdoms. You got the 144,000 singing this new song. Hey, so 144 right there. Call me how about and hopefully we're over that number. But so the elect will be preaching this word, and then the elect hearers would hear the word, and the teachers will be of the kingdom of Israel, or the house of Israel, and the house of Judah. And so, with that, I'll give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, B'Shem Yahweh Shai, B'Shem HaKadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who rule well.